What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 81. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And everybody else is gone. No Brett, no Brian, no Manny. We got some awesome people taking their place. First up, Carlos Romero from Otanime.
What up, everyone?
Mr. Hated Greatness, Mike A.
Hey, how's everyone out there doing? What's good? You know, whatever else young people say in greeting. You know,
What up, though?
And of course, our good friend John Phipps from the Super Deformed podcast. What's going on, John?
Full disclosure, I am playing Dark Souls 3 as we speak.
Of course,
Nice.
you're usually on camera. You know,
I'm just letting you know. Although I will say this, I'm not on camera right now because my camera is busted. And yeah, so no handsome face tonight.
All right, it's all good, man. Mike, how you been, man?
I don't know. I've been okay. Been playing, doing some gaming. I just started doing YouTube videos as well. So basically that, just working on trying to build that up. So, but that's about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. And Carlos, man, what about you? What you been up to lately, man?
So, other than buying a car, I did my second most expensive purchase in my life, which was a OLED 4K LG TV.
Oh shit!
And, oh my fucking god! Like, I know how a hip hop gamer feels when he talks about his TV. Like, everything looks better. So I've been playing Dark Souls 3 in that and watching a whole bunch of movies.
Oh man, that's actually a pretty damn good segue, man. So you got a 4K TV. Does that mean you're ready for the PS4 Neo, man?
Oh, God, here we go. Here
Now I
it is.
am.
That actually directly relates to my very first NeoGAF ban today.
What? You got banned from NeoGAF?
Yeah, for like 2 weeks.
Oh shit! What did you do, man?
I went fucking nuclear on some asshole.
Uh-oh.
I just, I mean, one, I'm a former Marine sergeant, and, I almost went drill instructor, so I don't take stupidity lightly. And two, long day, fucking asshole on the boards, just bitching over and over and over, just shitty attitude, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I was like, dude, I let loose, and they actually, when I got my message that I was banned, they actually said, yeah, not okay. And I was like, all right, whatever, I don't care. But,
Hold on, we got to hear the story now, bro.
yeah, so in fact, I can actually, I'll tell you what, I can actually pull up the article that actually got me, or not the article, but the paragraph that got me banned. If you give me 1 second here.
Yeah, just so people know, we got a little bit of a light show. Nothing really happening gaming. Very slow week.
But there's enough to talk about.
Oh, there's still enough to talk about, but it's not like super megatons dropped. Even this whole PS4K shit. It's like we kind of already knew it. It's just been, I guess, a little bit more confirmed now.
Yeah.
While you're looking it up, I'm going to say my piece on it, because if you guys heard the last time we talked about this, I was very, very much against it, because I felt that doing this would completely split the user base. You're going to have one PS3, and then another one with better games on it, games that you could only run on that shit, and I'm like, that's bad, Sony. Why the fuck would you do some shit like that? And with this new one, again, this is still a rumor, obviously, they made it very clear that the same games are going to run on PS3 and the new PS4, excuse me. PS4 base, PS4 Neo as the codename. Sony loves the Matrix. They had Project Morpheus. They got the fucking Neo now. I guess the next one's will be Trinity.
Next will be Trinity. I'm sure that's the Vita successor. Will be Trinity.
Yeah, exactly. So they made it very clear that
which is fitting, Tony, because Trinity dies.
That's true.
So does Neo.
Oh shit! He came back though, didn't he? As a god or something? I don't know. That third Matrix movie was terrible. Anyway, damn it, John. You made me lose track of what the fuck I was saying. Oh yeah. So I was against it at first, and that when they said that the games are gonna run on PS4 base and the PS4 Neo, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Like, okay, that's not too bad. You have, I guess, the option to upgrade if you want. You won't feel like you have to upgrade. Like, I read this, I'm like, okay, so I'll be okay with my PS4 because I don't feel like buying another PS4 right now. I'm good with what I got, right? I don't really care about playing games at 4K or whatever, you know. So if they do it that way, I think it'll be okay. And then, you know, from the response from most PlayStation fans, I mean, obviously there's a bunch of salty people out there too, but most of the people I saw on my timeline were pretty happy about it. Like, yeah, man, I want, you know, this new console and stuff. And I was always one of those guys. I never really bought into the whole notion of these consoles were underpowered. But after talking to a bunch of people and now seeing what Sony's doing, I'm kind of believing that, yeah, I guess this is kind of proof that these consoles were underpowered. Think about it like this, right? We'll talk about this later too. Xbox 360 celebrated at 10 years, right? That shit would maintain that level of consistency for 10 fucking years, right? And now 3 years into these consoles, we already we already need new iterations. So it lets you know that, yeah, they kind of were underpowered, I guess. Crazy shit. Go ahead, John, and then I want Hader to jump in after you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I've got the post here that I was banned for. So the guy said he'd been saying all day that people at Sony deserve to lose jobs, you know, and once you start saying people deserve to lose jobs, that's when I get kind of, because I've been unemployed before, I've been on the breadlines, and it's not fun. So he says, I can't wait for Sony's downfall, dumbasses. And finally I lost it. I said, this is quite possibly the dumbest, most childish, banal piece of tripe I've read all day, devoid of logic, intelligence, maturity, and any understanding at all of not just the gaming industry, but consumerism as a whole. Part of my job is to edit people's ridiculous fuck-ups all day. Having read back over your toxic contributions to this thread, I now realize there are some forms of stupid so hopelessly devoted to anti-intelligence that they can never be corrected. Your attitude about video games and the people who make them is absolute fucking garbage. Go fuck yourself.
No wonder you got banned. Holy shit!
So,
that's awesome, though.
So I got my 2-week ban. I wear it proudly. but really though, I mean, you know, this whole PS4 Neo thing. I mean, it is. I mean, it has been literally years since I've seen a reaction like this. From the last time I saw anything like this was 2013 E3 Xbox. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where just this outpouring of fucking hate. Only this time, I don't know. In my opinion, it's not really warranted. I mean, like a really good example is Colin Moriarty. Like on Kind of Funny Games, I really like Colin Moriarty. I'm a big fan of his. I respect him a lot. But he had a very visceral reaction to this, and he's not a fan, and he's been, I mean, literally just yelling about it for the past 2 days on his podcast. And he said something today that I wanted to throw at you guys and see what you thought. He said his problem is that when the PS4 Neo comes out, and it is coming out, it's not a rumor anymore, PS4 owner or OG PS4 owners will have the shitty version of games. And I was like, what, you mean the versions we're playing now? Like, are these shitty? I mean, nothing changes. I mean, that's a silly thing to say, in my opinion. I don't get it. I don't get the fucking hate. I don't get the fucking anger over this. Nobody. I mean, it's nobody. No. Sony's not going to hold a gun to anybody's head and force them to buy this console. I mean, from what I can tell, I mean, people on GAF looking at the specs and talking about this. I mean, you know, anybody expecting 60 frames a second for every game, it's just not going to happen. You know, with what Sony's providing in the Neo, you're going to get, like, you know, frame rate stability. You're going to get a locked 30 frames per second game. You're not going to see any dips. I mean, these are performance things. You're not. I mean, nothing's being displayed in 4K. So I wanted to see what you guys thought. You know, maybe ask you. You know, do you? I don't know. What do you guys think about all the fucking just hatred that's been thrown around for the past 2 days?
Mike, why don't you get in here since your name does have the name hate in it?
Oh my God. Jesus. In all honesty, I think it's warranted. I am not a fan of this move. I don't see the point of it. Like, if you're going to make a console, what's the point of making a modular console in this fashion? Like, it'd be one thing if they were releasing it where it was in. What's that? Oh, that's my phone. It'd be one thing if they were making it where it was like an update where everyone can go buy it and attach it to their system, or like manually open up their PS4 and swap something out. It's like, no, you have to go buy a brand new system. Or I shouldn't say have to. Sorry, it is optional. You're supposed to go buy a complete new system. And they're saying they're doing this to not divide their user base. But then they tell you that there's going to be the PS4 Neo and the PS4 base. That's a division. You've just divided your user base. The people who don't have the PS4 Neo will be playing inferior versions of games. And I'm not saying that, we're not playing inferior versions of games now, but here's the point. They kind of they're forced to try to optimize games as well as they can for for the PS4 as it is now because there's no option. With the Neo, they don't have to do that. They can optimize it for the Neo and give us what we can, the easiest setting they can get to run on what we have now.
No,
so you won't be playing games that work as well.
No, but you will. That's the issue. Is that I mean I've seen and full disclosure, I have seen the email from devs or from Sony directly to devs, and I won't say how I've seen it, but I do have it. You know, these games are going to. I mean, the target is PS4, and you know, Sony has a lot of stipulations about this. They're being very bullish about this. One, these games are being optimized for PS4, and then they're being upscaled to PS Neo. So the target is the PS4 you're playing on right now. So it's not like all of a sudden you're going to be playing games that are optimized for a more powerful system, and they're chugging along on your old fucking busted PS4. It's just that's not the way this works. The other thing is that all peripherals like controllers, headsets, everything that you use for the PS4 goes straight to the Neo. There are no new peripherals. Everything is cross-play.
I understood that part, but what I'm trying to figure out is even with what you just found, that makes it even worse. If it's just upscaling what we have now for the Neo, what's the purpose of the Neo? So it's just for 4K now to push 4K TVs. That's it.
No, see, here's the thing. Like, yes and no. Like, 4K adoption of 4K technology is going to start accelerating really quickly. The issue that Sony has is that we're only right now, as it stands, we're 2 years, 2.5 years almost into the current cycle, right? So, ostensibly, you know, I mean, one, we all know that Sony nor Microsoft can afford to have a console generation as long as 7th gen. It's just it's neither one can sustain that. But at the same time, the rate of with the speed that technology is advancing, moves like this are going to start to become more and more necessary. I mean, if anybody doesn't think that Xbox is doing the exact same thing, I got a bridge to sell you.
Yeah, Microsoft is definitely doing it.
I'm sure that Microsoft is doing the same thing. That doesn't make it right. I'll go at Microsoft. Hell, I'll go at them even more so than Sony for doing this because their system was even weaker at launch than Sony's was. And they knew what they were getting into when they sold us this system in 2013, and the system was behind the curve at launch. So it's like we're not even a full 3 years in, and you're not forcing but asking us to support a new version of the same console that's minusculely more powerful. So, like, what precedent does that set for console gaming?
PS4, PS3 Slim.
That's a completely. So you're comparing a cosmetic change to a system. To a system that's going to have improved performance.
But the PS3 Slim had marginal improvements to visual fidelity.
So it's the same thing, is what I'm asking. Like the hardware improvements to the Neo is the same thing with what they did to Slim.
Well, the Slim had hardware improvements as well.
Yes, it did.
No, but what I'm asking is it the same thing?
No, it's not exactly the same thing. But I mean, to be honest with you,
I'm assuming that the gap is much larger in the Neo than it was from the PS3 to PS3 Slim.
You're just talking performance, or not?
Yeah, I mean, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm speaking on.
Yes, you're speaking. Yes, so yes, you're talking.
Because with the Slim and even with what they did for the 360 and stuff, you saw like marginal improvements in loading times, and that was it. There was no the frame rate for games will be locked for this version of the system and all that. Like, no, it was literally your games might load 4 seconds faster, and the system is smaller, and it had less overheat issues. That was it. It wasn't it's going to have 512 megs of RAM more than the older system did. Well, why? Like, why did you do that? Why couldn't you just release the RAM separately and let us install it ourselves?
Well, let me ask you this: are you going to buy one?
No.
So what's the problem?
Because I know people who are going to buy one. I'm not buying one specifically because anyone who talks to will tell you this. I'm pretty much fed up with this hardware gaming generation anyway. I'm shifting to PC. I don't see the purpose of doing this on console. If I'm going to be upgrading this regularly, I might as well do it and get the peak performance out of my games and go to PC and do that anyway.
But I mean, if you go with the PC, I mean, just like you said, you're going to be You'll probably be upgrading more often.
And that's true, but that's what PC gaming is. This is not what console gaming is supposed to be. That's my point.
I mean,
I know what I'm getting into going to PC gaming, and that's the thing with these upgrades. With these upgrades they're releasing for the PS4, and eventually, like you said, because we all know it's going to happen with the Xbox as well, will they be competing with the PC version of games for the cross-platform? Hell no.
No.
So what's the point? like, why not just go get the better version if I'm going to be upgrading my system?
But when this thing comes out,
anyway.
I mean, it's not out right now. We have no idea when this thing is coming out. I've heard several different things. I've got a couple inside sources, and I've heard several different things. I've heard that I don't think you're going to see this announced at E3, from what I've heard.
I don't think they would announce it at E3.
The earliest
PSVR, I don't think they do that.
I've heard everything from October to next year. And if this thing, I mean, and let's just say that it releases
in
October
of this year?
October of this year or next year.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So I mean, let's say this thing releases in fall of this year. That's 3 years, right? Like that's 3 years is 3 years. I mean, it's not like the PS4 came out yesterday.
But we're just kind of, like you said, we just came off a generation that lasted 8 years.
Exactly, and it lasted, I would say, 3 or 4 3 years too long.
I don't think it lasted long enough, honestly, the way these systems launched.
Yeah. I'll get into that right now. Actually, I actually believe. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now I'm just gonna keep it real right now. I honestly think the current gen right now, the gen we have now, should have started. I'm gonna say it last year, November. In November.
Hell no.
No, I disagree.
Because here's the thing. Think about it like this. The first 2 years of this gen, what were we playing? Shit that was on PS3 and Xbox 360. There was no difference. We only started to see new games last year, right? So November would have been the sweet spot, but they rushed it. They rushed it, and we got these. The proof is in the pudding. We're getting new consoles now 3 years later, right? Why? Because these shits were underpowered. And I'm the guy that said they weren't, but it's in my face now. They obviously were underpowered, Go ahead, Carlos.
I mean, the 360 and the PS3 were pushed almost to their limits by the time these consoles came out. The reason why the games are barely catching up right now is because, first, the games were PS3 and PS4 games. They were on both platforms, so they kind of had to compensate for both. And second, it takes programmers time to realize how to optimally utilize their own hardware platform. So it's going to take time for developers to be able to utilize these systems to the best of their capabilities. I mean, we see it in every almost every console generation.
Yeah, but if we go with every console generation, they always get it right by the second year. We're past the second year now, and we still haven't seen anything really impressive.
Tony,
I would say that it took Sony 4 years to get right with the PS3.
No, think about it like this. I'm not talking about just Sony or Microsoft. I'm talking about the entire generation in general. When did we finally see a big glut of new games that took advantage? 2007, 2 years after the 360 came out, right? So by that same time frame, we should have had really impressive games by now, and we're not seeing that.
I disagree. 2007 it's like the best year in gaming, but it's not because they utilized their hardware sufficiently, is because they were just great games. Yeah. I mean, Mass Effect had a whole bunch of issues when it came to running on the Xbox 360.
It did, but at the same time, people were like, holy shit, I never played anything like this before. We're not really getting... I mean, I know that's a little bit of a separate discussion, but we're not really seeing anything innovative when it comes to this generation.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, Shadow of Mordor, I think, is a good example.
That's the only one. That's the only one you could think of,
but
if you really think about it.
And you know what? That ran on old hardware as well.
But it ran like shit. It ran like ass.
No. Here's the thing, though. The game's main feature, right? The Nemesis system was not on next gen. Yeah. So that's why I call it a next gen game, because
I understand. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but that's the only example. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I mean, the last gen versions, which should not have existed, had no single player campaign. It was multiplayer only. I mean, they're
and that works fine. It's Call of Duty. That was like even the last gen version of Call of Duty was like on the top 10 best selling. Like the game sold like amazingly well. I mean, even now, let's look at March MPDs. What was the top 10 selling game? Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah. We're still playing games from last gen on current gen hardware. That makes no sense to me.
I mean, it makes perfect.
3 years in, and that's happening.
But it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, some people it takes some people years to adopt new hardware, but two, I think there's 3 things to be looked at here. One, it takes some people years to adapt new hardware, and whether you're talking about consoles or phones or televisions. I mean, I know people who still use iPhone 4s. I mean, it just is some people just are really slow to adopt. The second point is that I mean, the PS3 and the Xbox 360 have huge user bases still, and I am not surprised at all that developers wanted to milk that as long as they possibly could, because it took several years in order to build a viable player base with the Xbox One and the PS4, and which is why you saw games like Shadow of Mordor crammed into systems that it did not want to run. But I mean, that's business for you. And three, I mean, honestly, there are some really good games left on last gen systems, you know, and I mean, it's a combination of various things, but I don't think it's a problem, and I don't see I don't know, me personally, it does not surprise me at all. And and the last point, you know, I guess the last point I want to make is, I forgot to make this, is that as technology moves on and things go, and you know, the years pass, the gap between generations is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Which is why a lot of people say, oh, we're not seeing these, you know, these 8th gen defining games, you know, because there is less of a power difference between the PS3 and the PS4 than there was the PS3 and the PS2. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's just the evolutionary nature of technology.
But my point is that leap in technology, what we went to for the PS4 and the Xbox One, at the time of those systems release, they weren't even close to being like fresh. They were well behind the curve. When the 360 and the PS3 came out, especially the PS3, like that was groundbreaking. Like they were that was technology that like even PC like to build a PC equivalent of a PS3 at the launch of the PS3. First of all, I don't know how you would actually go about doing that. I assume with the cell infrastructure and all that, I assume you'd have to drop major guap. But even with the 360, which would be simpler to do, that you weren't doing that cheaply. People looked at the specs of the Xbox One and PS4 and they were announced. They were like, "Really? That's it?" Like medium spec PCs were outperforming those things at launch. That's an underpowered hardware launch. Technology is improving at a faster and faster rate, and yet you launch two systems that are behind the curve, and then surprise, surprise, 3 years after their launch, we're getting an updated version of them. Like,
but that's how the dev cycle works, man. I mean, you can't. I mean, you know, you have to. So, I mean, we know for a fact that production on both these consoles started around 2008, 2009, right? Because I mean, it takes years to develop these things. It takes years in R&D,
yeah.
and as technology improves and you get bigger hard drives, you get more powerful GPUs and CPUs. I mean, you can't just stop production, you know, right in the middle and say, okay, we're swapping it out, we're changing the whole deal. I mean, you have to kind of run with what you got, and so, which is why I think you're going to start seeing more of an iterative, console cycle going forward.
But there's minuscule changes they could have made to the hardware that wouldn't have vastly changed the architecture of the systems.
I mean, at the time, though,
both systems coming out, and you know that you're going to a digital age. Both systems launched with 500 gig hard drives. Now, in Sony's defense, you could swap your hard drive in and out on your own, so I guess that's not that big of a deal. So with Microsoft, you can't do that. That voids your warranty. And you know people are downloading updates like crazy. Well, they have to install their games off the disk onto the hard drive. Like that's a cost cutting. That's them cutting costs. That's not them. Oh well, we were locked into this. You're not locked into that. You can change that. You're choosing not to. You see the writing on the wall and you just stay the course anyway. That's not even smart. You just say, we can fix this later on in the future. That's what some people are taking issue with because they know that with the next. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like I know I feel like we're kind of getting off topic from the PS Neo or whatever the fuck we want to call it, but I mean, I'll say this, you know, like we don't know a lot about the PS5 or the PS5, Jesus, we don't know a lot about the PS4 Neo. We don't know a lot about what we do know is that, or what I do know, based on my experience in marketing and stuff, is that I mean. Everybody who's saying, oh, I'm done with consoles. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying most people. Mm-hmm. Most people, and I think we can all agree. Most people who are saying, I'm done with consoles, I'm done with Sony. Most of those guys will be the first ones in line for this, right? Because people are hypocrites, and you know, they're like, you know, people on the internet can say whatever they want, but the truth is a far different matter. And two, this thing is going to sell like fucking crazy. I guarantee it. And the OG PS4 will continue to sell like crazy as well.
Because it'll be cheaper.
Well, and that's kind of the whole point is that when this thing gets a price cut when the Neo comes out, and it absolutely will. I mean, it'll either be $299 or $250. what the PS4 or the PS4 Neo is being marketed to the like the core gamer, like guys like Tony and myself and you fine gentlemen, like those are the people that the Neo is targeting. The mass market, which comprises the majority of gamers who are casual gamers, they don't give a shit about prettier graphics. They give a shit about affordability. They give a shit about cost. So this is not a machine that's being marketed to the mass market. I know for a fact through people I have talked to that Sony has apparently, and I don't know what the marketing plan is, but they've got a very, very, very smart way of marketing this thing. That's how it's been described to me. They've got a very intelligent way, a very reasonable way that they're going to go about marketing it in order to make it palatable to the masses, you know. But this is a machine that is being targeted to the core gamer, almost like an elite console. I don't know, to kind of coin a phrase, an elite PS4, whereas individuals who really don't get, because if everybody gave a shit about really, really awesome graphics, all of us would be playing on $3,000 PC rigs right now. We would. If graphics were what mattered and fuck the cost, that would be our reality. But it's not. People care more about prices, and I'm talking about the mass market, which is why I think both iterations of the PS4 will sell fine, because they're both targeting different people. You see what I'm saying?
So here's my question: If this PS Neo never came out or was never allegedly came out, you think there would be a price drop for the current base PS4?
No,
Yeah, I mean,
no, absolutely not. I mean, why? It's selling like fucking mad. They don't need to drop the price.
yeah, they wouldn't need that. Chris, get in here real quick. What do you think about this whole Neo thing?
Well, there's parts of both your arguments that I agree with. I agree with Tony that this generation should have started last year. I 100% agree with that. But I think that that hardware is just improving way too fast to have a long, like 8-year console cycle. So I agree with like iterations, but it sets a precedent now. Now that they do this, like now that Sony is committed to this, like they're going to have to commit to iterative updates of the consoles every 3 to 4 years, right, to keep up with this demand. And if this sells well, then they're definitely going to do it, which means we're going to see console updates every 3-4 years. And I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if that's going to drive more people to PC, because I think it's more cost effective. Like what Mike's saying, like, you know, why not just buy a really boss rig and just swap your video card in every couple of years, or bump up the RAM?
But Chris, as long as they don't make the games exclusive.
Right. Well, I don't ever trust any company that says they're going to put in rigid restrictions and rules, because anytime there's money involved, they always change their tune. Whatever they say, like there will be no games exclusive for the Neo. They will be developed on the base. They won't exclude anyone. But then when it comes down to it, like developers can put pressure on them. Guys like EA could put pressure on Sony and say, no, we're going to take advantage of this system. We're going to lock features out, right? And then at the end of the day, money talks and we get screwed.
Yeah, but they're not.
Well, I mean, EA's not going to do that though.
No, they're not. And Sony won't do that either, because Sony right now has a 40 million plus user base. They're not foolish enough to fuck with that right now.
You're speaking of them like you're speaking in a definitive right now. There's no way to know what's going to happen in the future. Money changes everything. I promise you.
I agree. I agree with you. I agree. That's why I'm saying that Sony lost last gen. They absolutely, nobody can argue that they did, especially those first 3 or 4 years when the PS3 wasn't selling for shit. I mean, if you look at the sales numbers, I mean, it was fucking ridiculous. It's selling far.
Just for the sake of clarity, though, the PS3 did manage to outsell the 360 by the end of the generation.
Exactly. Because Sony changed their fucking tune. Sony learned there are different people in charge now. And I related to and it was a hard lesson that they learned, and it was a lesson that Microsoft learned in 2013, and Phil Spencer has done a pretty good job of righting the ship, in my opinion. But I mean, it's not. Yes, it is about money, which is exactly why I don't think Sony is prone to making the same mistakes of the past, at least not right now, because I guarantee you they are watching everybody's reaction right now, the eyes of a fucking hawk. They are watching everything that is happening right now. They are listening to podcasts talking about this, and they are going to couch the message in such a way that they are going to do their damnedest to put everybody's minds at ease. And I wish I knew what the message was. But I do know that they have what has been described to me as a very, very smart marketing plan in mind for this thing.
I hope it's not like here. Well, here's the Vita marketing plan. I have it right here.
Oh no.
That's the Vita marketing plan. And the PS4 marketing plan was basically like, wow, Microsoft is huge assholes. We aren't that.
Yep,
Yeah,
that was their marketing plan.
That was a PS4 marketing plan. So the Neo better have something way stronger than either of those.
Cause I'm trying to remember the name of the.
That's how Hillary Clinton's gonna win the presidency. I'm not Donald Trump. That's all she has to do.
I remember someone at Sony when asked why the PS4 was selling so well. Basically, his answer was, "I don't know."
Yeah,
We don't know.
Yeah, Shuhei Yoshida was
Yeah,
on record.
People at
On
Sony,
record.
they don't even Sony doesn't even know why the PS4 is selling right now. So I'm like, I don't understand what you mean by them learning. Like, what have they learned? They don't know why things are happening right now. Market forces and coincidences have kind of led to what happened right now.
I think Andrew House would probably give you a much different answer if you asked him. I know why. I know exactly why it's selling. It's the message. I mean, if you ask Jack Tretton right now, I know he's not with Sony anymore, but I know if you ask Jack Tretton right now why the PS4 is selling the way it is, he would tell you because of the way we sold it, because of the way we worded it. And it's exactly the reason that the Xbox One is struggling right now. I mean, these messages will last a long time. I mean, we all know that DRM on the Xbox One ended up not being a thing, and the whole used games thing, it ended up not being a thing. But that sentimentality lingers in the mind of the mass market, in the minds of the consumer. I mean, I work in marketing. I deal with these things on a very, very daily basis, and that's just the way these things work.
I kind of disagree. I mean, I've had conversations with Tony about this. I think the reason why PlayStation is outselling everything is because PlayStation as a brand is gigantic. I mean, it's had 2 console generations where it sold over 100 million consoles, and the only year it didn't sell as well, because it sold well, was the PS3, because it was expensive as hell, and it started as expensive as hell, but it did pretty good at the end. So when it came to this generation, PlayStation versus Xbox, PlayStation is still way bigger of a brand than Xbox is, so it's gonna sell regardless. And the price was cheaper to start with, so I think those were the 2 biggest factors.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, but I mean, the price is also about the messaging. I mean, I guarantee you that Sony.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that price wasn't final until Sony saw the $4.99 from Microsoft, and they were like, "Well, we've got a real opportunity here." I don't think that price was set in stone. I really, really don't.
Yeah, and regarding the whole DRM stuff, I kind of don't think that's the case with people not buying the Xbox, because, well, first of all, they changed their position before it even launched, and only the hardcore gamers were talking about this. Nobody
Dudes are still talking about it till this day, man.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. I mean, so I know that they never did it, and of course, they nixed it after E3 2013. But I mean, gamers are a very, very, and I know this because I am a gamer. You guys are gamers, and we all know this. Gamers we have long memories about this shit. And what happened?
Like elephants.
Yeah, and what happened with Microsoft is that, I mean, they were punished. I mean, that was the market punishing them for even dreaming of considering this. Do I think that DRM, the way they instituted it, do I think it would have been a horrible thing? No, I mean, I don't think it would have been the end of the fucking world, but a lot of people did, and at that point it was too late. People had already made up their minds. They were like, well, there's no, the mentality was, there's no saying that Microsoft won't bring this back. The fact that they even thought that this was an okay thing to do means I'm done with Microsoft. So it was a mentality thing,
But that was
I
just
can't even agree with that, because Sony supposedly thought about doing that for the PS3. Word got out about that before the PS3 came out.
Yeah, but it never had those. But those were just rumors. I mean, we knew that Microsoft was going to do it. You could never. I mean, nothing with Sony was ever confirmed. Whereas with Xbox, we knew for a fact that that's what was going to happen. And the other problem that Microsoft ran into is that they didn't explain it very well. They beat around the bush, and they said, well, yeah, but we haven't really talked about it yet, and they never got around to actually explaining to gamers what they meant by it, and that frustrated a lot of people.
It's almost, you speak of gamers as if they don't think for themselves. Like, they don't actually research and actually put any prior thought into stuff. They just go based on what people say and what they remember, and
that's
then they
exactly
make
what
emotional.
They do.
I mean,
that's exactly what they do.
That's kind of sad. Then that's bad on gamers. Not just because it happened to Microsoft, but just because of the decisions they make. Period. They're reactional and emotional. That's horrible.
It's a good thing, but I mean, Tony hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what gamers do.
I mean, think about why do you think things like Metacritic are so popular, right? Because gamers don't want to think; they just want easy answers, right? They don't want to go crazy. Think about the fucking Order, right? Everybody went nuts. Oh, the game's short. Did you fucking play it yourself? No, you didn't. You're talking all this shit. You know, it happens all the time. People base their opinions.
It's always funny to me when I hear people who've never played the Order bash the Order. Like, I make fun of the Order, but I actually played it. So, I mean, I understand that. Yeah. Even if it's a short game, it's not bad. So I really never understood all the hate for it and stuff.
But my point...
go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but the point is, you know, actually, let's go back to the whole Neo shit. Here's my thoughts on it. Because, again, I'm almost at the point where I'm feeling like I'm going to just give up on, you know, the fight. Because my thing is, if it was up to me, we just ride this generation out until 2018, right? 5 years... PS5.
5 years, that's what I said.
Yeah, just ride it out, right? But I'm like, okay, if this is the way things are going to go, I'm not going to fight it. I'll just wait for the PS5 proper, because think about it like this. I know people don't like to, you know, hear this, but it's true. If this is the way cell phones are, this is the way PCs are, it looks like consoles may be going the same route. You know, you're going to get a new iteration every 3 years. But then again, if you're going to do that, just like you said, Mike, and just like I said, why not just invest in a PC and get a new graphics card every 2 or 3 years instead, right? You know? I don't know, man. It's a weird thing. And you're right. What if this comes out and is successful? You know what's going to happen. All the companies start doing this shit.
They're going to start doing it. Like, that's the precedent that money sets. Like, business is going to see this like, hey, look, this is a huge success. This is what the market wants. And we make more money off of it, so that they're going to adopt it. It's just going to become standard.
And if this is what the market, if that's how the market responds, and if this is what the market wants, I mean, who are we to say that that's a bad thing?
I mean, we can.
Well, I'm a gamer. I can speak for what I, as an independent gamer, think. That's all I'm doing. I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm just speaking for me and people like me. No, and I'm not even against the idea of module consoles where you could upgrade stuff. I've long said that that's where consoles are going to go, because consoles are just, I mean, they're more PC-like now than they've ever been.
Yeah. And
they're becoming more and more PC-like. The only downfall is we don't get the benefits of being PC-like. It's like we're PC-like, but only in the parts that suck, like having to install games and regular updates and stuff. But not like the great modding communities and stuff like that. We don't get any of the stuff, good stuff, just the crap. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm for us getting to a point where, like, I buy an Xbox 9 or PS12 or whatever, and it's like, okay, in 2 years you're going to need to upgrade your graphics card or something for a boost in a specific game that's coming. All right, cool. That's fine. Not like, oh, you have to buy a new version of this system 3 years later. Why?
But the flaw in your argument, Mike, is the phrasing "you have to." You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do, you don't.
If you're a gamer that wants to play recent, like, it's like if you're on PC, you don't have to upgrade your graphics card. But if you want to play the new Battlefield when it comes out, and you don't have a graphics card that meets the minimum specs, you have to get a new graphics card.
But that's not the case here. That's not the case.
Okay, but you're not getting what I'm saying. The direction where consoles are moving in right now with a PS4 Neo and whatever the Xbox is going to do, they're going to get to a point where, because they already kind of did that last gen on the 360. Remember when they removed the hard drive requirement and they promised that there would not be games that required a hard drive, and then a year later games came out and there were stickers on the game cases that said requires a hard drive. You cannot play this game without an Xbox 360 hard drive, and people just were fine with it because they forgot that they promised they weren't going to do that. That's where we're going. We've seen it happen in gaming already. It will happen again. That's why I'm not okay with this. Like, I remember.
But it hasn't happened now, and you can't say you cannot say that that's where we're going. We don't know.
I'm just saying it's a strong possibility. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the market could dictate that consoles will cease to exist in 10 years. I mean,
and then we're all going PC, you know?
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I just want to, because we're about to wrap this segment up. This is my theory, right? This is what's going to happen, right? They're going to release this thing. I don't know about this year. Maybe early next year, right? And this was going to happen. At first, they're going to have that parity, right? The games are essentially not too different, right? Then when more PS4 Neos are in the market than regular PS4s, then you're going to start seeing those specific features added, right? That's when you're going to see all that shit going on. So,
I don't see it happening, Tony.
Again,
isn't it up to the developer? It's not really up to Sony. What is Sony going to do if some third-party guy goes...
No, that is absolutely up to Sony. That part is up to Sony.
Yeah, Sony absolutely said that.
Okay,
again, money talks.
We'll see, but when if like a future Final Fantasy game comes out and they're like, yeah, well, we want to like release exclusively utilizing the Neo,
then Sony will say no.
You can't say that, dude. If Square Enix comes to Sony and goes, listen, we want to make this game exclusively for your console on the condition that it's only for the Neo, Sony is not going to say no. They're going to go, give me that money.
No. But Square Enix isn't going to do that.
You don't know that, dude. Look, Capcom. That would be Street Fighter was bigger on the 360 than it was on fucking PlayStation.
And they learned Street Fighter 5. They learned a lesson there, didn't they?
What lesson did they learn?
Yeah, what
it's
lesson?
Still exclusive on the PS5 or PS4.
No. That is not. No, that was not the issue with Street Fighter 5. I don't give a shit if it was exclusive. The issue with Street Fighter 5 is that it was an incomplete game. They shipped a fucking incomplete game.
Well, that's Capcom for you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just Capcom.
Well, no, I mean, you're saying that. I'm telling you, as someone that's involved with the fighting game community, that decision to not come out on the Xbox One, and there were already people who had adopted Xbox Ones as fighting game fans because of Killer Instinct being there, was huge. So to them, it's like, okay, well, I'm either going to get this game on PC, or I'm just not going to play Street Fighter 5. I'm not investing $400 to play one fighting game. That's ludicrous to me. Like that's kind of crazy. Like that's something that did impact that game. It's not even just the incompletion, the fact that it's quote unquote incomplete, depending on you're talking to or whatever like that, or the issues with the game functioning online and all that stuff, which we've seen time and time again with fighting games on PlayStation. Like these are things like Sony has not learned from that in the past, and they don't really. Like they're the #1 gaming company in the world right now. They have no reason to learn from it now.
But those online issues, I think, those have to do with the game's servers, not with Sony servers.
Yeah, but going back to the point I was trying to make is the point is money talks, right? If one company comes to Sony and go, hey, listen, we want to make this game exclusive for your console on the condition that's only for the Neo, no, Sony will not say no. They will not say no.
So yes, money talks, and you'll make more money if you release Final Fantasy 20 on the Neo, on the 4 base, on the Xbox, on PC, on Wii U, on everything. The fact that you're saying that potentially this game could go exclusive to one platform just goes against all the periodical evidence.
I'm not saying
that was a hypothetical.
Listen, Carlos, whoa, let me finish. You've completely missed what I'm saying. My point is, Sony will allow developers to make specific features for the Neo. Understand? That's my main point.
But that's a given, though. I mean, 4K is a feature.
But Sony
is right now is saying there's not going to be any special features. Understand? That's what Sony is saying. I'm saying they're not going to stick to that. If somebody comes up with enough money, they're going to change it to real
that's
quick.
What I'm saying. Yeah, if developers that are big enough, like Square Enix, that decide that features in Final Fantasy need the Neo's hardware to exclusively work, so they're going to add those features in, and they will only be available on the Neo.
I mean, what features?
I don't know. Whatever the hardware supports. Let's say they're like. They already mentioned in some articles that you could have a bigger co-op map because of the Neo's hardware. So you can have 8 or 16 players instead of or 32 players instead of 8. You know.
But what you're saying doesn't make any sense. I mean, there are 40 million PS4. Take OG PS4s. That's what we'll call them, right? Or if it makes you happy, plebe station 4s. That's what we'll call it. Right?
John, before you go on, I know what you're trying to say. Okay, yeah, there's 40 of them. Well, what happens when there's 60 million?
There will never be.
Again,
more...
I'm posing a hypothetical to you. What if you get to that point? You know.
But you won't. I mean, the sales of the Neo will not catch up to sales of the. I mean, they have a 40.
You don't know that. You don't know that. You know.
Because they won't. Because again, like we've already said, cost matters more to the mass market than pretty graphics. Which is why the OG PS4 will continue to sell at the rate it has.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Let me say this before I forget. So if the PS4 Neo sales surpass or way surpass the base PS4 sales, and you're worried about extra features, and that just means that pretty much everyone that has a PS4 has both of them or had both of them. So it's
What?
What?
Yeah, explain that again.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Like,
Yeah,
if the PS4 Neo sales surpass the base PS4s significantly enough for a developer to do different, like an exclusive feature or game or whatever, then it pretty much means that mostly everyone has a PS Neo that had a PS4.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
All right, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I think we can all agree that regardless of what happens, we're getting a PS5, right? Like that is
PS5, yeah, PS5.
No, I won't be. No.
No. I'm talking about we're getting it. Like it's going to happen. Like PS5 is going to happen. Like,
Yes.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so a PS5 is going to happen, and you have to figure. I mean, it's going to happen around 2018, 2019, if the iterative, cycle pans out the way we think it will, right? You're telling me that in that amount of time, with PS4s continuing to sell, that they will sell 60 million PS4 Neos alone? No, it's not going to happen. Sales of the Neo will never ever surpass the OG PS4 sales. There are just too many OG PS4s in the wild right now. And if there are more OG PS4s than there are PS4 Neos, it makes zero sense for any company to come out and say we want exclusive features for a system that fewer people are playing. That makes
so I'm going to ask
no
again
sense.
because I don't. What is with what you just said now? What is the purpose of the Neo?
I've already said it's an enthusiast machine. That's what it is. Catered to the hardcore gamer who wants
he's
pretty
saying
good.
But isn't the PS4 already catered to the hardcore gamer?
No, absolutely not.
But really,
Yeah,
I could swear that that's what for the gamers and all that, and I could swear
for the gamers,
when I
but who
talked
are
to
the
Sony
gamers?
fans, they told me that the system was made for hardcore gamers. It wasn't like Microsoft, who was aiming at people who weren't hardcore gamers by having features on top of it that weren't.
They can say that all day, but you and I both know that the PS4 is a mass market machine. I mean, most gamers are casual gamers. There are far more casual gamers than there are hardcore gamers. That's a fact, right? This is a mass market machine. Of course it is. And Sony knows that they can sell something with much prettier graphics to an enthusiast audience. They can, and they will. This thing it's going to sell like crazy. It just won't sell the way that the PS4 is right now, because there are more casual gamers who care much more about spending less money. That's a fact.
Yeah. All right. We could pretty much go on all night with this one. John, you say you got to get going, right?
I've got about I've got a few more minutes.
All right, let's switch gears completely. We're talking about what's coming up for this gen, but let's go back to last gen. Xbox 360, Microsoft has, discontinued it, basically, officially discontinued after 10 years. So I wanted to take this time to reminisce about the console that pretty much shaped modern gaming as it is.
An era, man.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Am I the only one in here that never owned a 360, by the way?
That never owned one?
I had one.
I had three.
I had 5.
Yeah. All right, just making sure that's part of the reason I brought some of you guys on, because I needed 360 hardcore dudes, So I kind of let you guys go at it. 360, what were some of the things you really enjoyed about the system?
So, before I started playing it, I remember I was in high school. It was 4 a.m. during a school day, and I waited in line in freaking cold ass weather just to get a 360 on day one.
Were you a fan of Xbox already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the original Xbox, and I had the PS2 as well, on the GameCube. And yeah, man, freaking, I remember buying Perfect Dark Zero. That was a piece of shit. I didn't buy, what's it called? What was that other game that came out?
What, Cameo?
Cameo. I never bought Cameo, and I always heard about it. It was really good. So I kind of regret that.
You could get Rare Replay now, man. I think it's on there.
I don't know.
Yeah, Cameo's on there, yeah.
But yeah, man, I remember, we talked about it earlier, 2007 was just fucking hell of a year. We had Mass Effect, we had BioShock, and these were exclusives at the time. PS3 didn't have these games. Remember, PS3 didn't have games at the time, quote unquote.
Yeah, they didn't have games. I remember that.
Hey man, they had Lair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2007 was the first year Uncharted came out, but besides that, obviously the big monster wasn't exclusive, but it was essentially a 360 game in everybody's eyes, right?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, man, that was the game that pretty much shaped that entire generation, man. Everything tried to be Call of Duty after that. Everything had to have multiplayer shoehorned in because of Call of Duty. It's crazy because that game was, obviously gamers played it, right? But it really appealed to non-gamers. These dudes that just play for 15 minutes or a night or something like that. I know dudes that only play Call of Duty and Madden. That's all they play and shit. Crazy. But yeah, Call of Duty was definitely, like, even for a guy like me who didn't like any of those type of games, it felt like I couldn't get away from it. Like, stop talking about Call of Duty. I don't give a fuck about Call of Duty. But everybody was just Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. It was nuts, man. Never seen anything like that. Crazy shit. But yeah, 2007. And even though that was a franchise that had already existed, you could pretty much consider Modern Warfare a first new game.
Yep. And the Orange Box came out that year, and it was better on the 360 than PS3. I think was it an exclusive?
Yeah. I think it was for a while. Assassin's Creed came out that year too. It was better on 360. It's crazy fucking year, man. It's a shame we haven't had that for this generation.
Well, we had them in remasters, but
yeah, shit. No remaster. We didn't get remastered until like 2010 last generation. 5 years.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. Like last gen, like it came out like. Even if you didn't like all the games at launch, it pretty much came out with a bang with a lot of games you hadn't played before. Like, even for me, like, I'd never played Call of Duty 2 on console at that time. And that was what I played on 360. That was the game. That game, I think it was only like 10 people online. But some of the features we still don't see in first-person shooters online today. You could pick specific maps that you just didn't want to play on. And you never had to play on them. It would find you matches on maps that were on your whitelist, not on your blacklist. Call of Duty 2 is still my favorite Call of Duty. Like all the games after that, they just stopped being realistic and they're just devoid of any skill and just twitch shooters with no like actual. I just don't like them. But 2 was amazing to me. I played the hell out of that. I think it was PGR 3 that came out with it as well. That I went into hard body like. Yeah, 360 to me, honestly, the defining feature for me was like it was the first system with online integrated into it from launch. Like I love the Dreamcast, but it didn't have the online from day one. If you get what I'm saying, and even the OG Xbox, a lot of the games that came to the OG Xbox were ready for online, but Xbox Live wasn't ready at launch, so they kind of missed out on that. Whereas with the 360, it was like day one, it was ready for all of that stuff, and I think it handled it very well. And like you said, like. It basically changed the landscape of console gaming. I think it's even had an influence on PC gaming, to be honest with you, because a lot of people game on PC now. And
achievements.
Yeah, like with the achievements.
I mean, most people even use 360 controllers for PC gaming. I do.
Yeah, there you go. The 360 controller and now the Xbox One controller is very prevalent for PC gamers that actually like the controller interface. Especially for fighting games. If you're a fighting game fan and you didn't have a 360 last year, I feel sorry for you. Because the games all ran like arcade perfect on 360. The online for all of them was just better. Like it was just really good. And something is right for fighting games when even Japan, the fighting game community, played their tournaments on 360. No one else had 360s in Japan except people who played fighting games. That was it. And they had them like Daigo would host his stream, would host matches and stuff, and he's playing the 360 version. Like it was crazy to me. So I mean. I'm just shocked that it's coming to an end, considering that apparently 360s still do pretty well. I don't know why anyone was buying a 360 in 2016.
Shout out to Microsoft when they tried to get all these JRPG exclusives. Remember when they went after Blue Dragon, Tales, and Lost Odyssey?
Yeah. Well, I mean now they got Scalebound,
See, that's why I feel for them, because it's like they're trying to do like people say they don't have exclusives and they try and go get the exclusives and then gamers don't buy them. People just buy multi-platforms. So it's kind of like, well, why spend money and time doing that if the best-selling games on all platforms are just multi-platform games anyway?
Like, that's the thing. It's like gamers always complain. It's like, oh, there's only shooters. Then when they give you stuff that's not shooters, you can buy them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of Call of Duty, and then Call of Duty's like number one on the sales. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not tired of it. Just keep buying it. So I don't believe it.
Every year we hear that. It's like, oh, this is my last Call of Duty, and what happens? they buy another Call of Duty. Every time, man. Okay, Chris, Xbox 360 memories.
Well, I remembered when each one failed. I remember when each one red ringed, and I remember resuscitating my first system like twice, like reflowing the board and trying to like you gotta live. Like I remember I was in the middle of Mass Effect 2 and I got my first red ring and I was like so sad. I was like I went through like the stages of loss in like 10 minutes. Like I got angry and sad and I was like, no, I need you. And then I tried to save my console and then actually I brought it back to this place in Chinatown that does reflows. I brought it back the third time and they refused to save it. They're like, no, dude, we fixed this thing twice. So I ended up buying a second system. And then after I bought my third Xbox, I don't think a console could have that big of a failure rate, nothing but the 360, and have that much support. Like people, if any other console just would crap out at the rate that it did, people would have been done with it. Like, get this out of here. But 360 was so good. The only game I played more than the Mass Effect game was Street Fighter 4. Like Mike was saying, I played Street Fighter 4 almost like at a high school level where I was playing it daily. For hours. Like, it was so good. So yeah, my fondest memories besides Mass Effect, which I played, like day one I get Mass Effect. I couldn't wait for the next one. And Mass Effect 2 was so good. It was so good. Such an amazing game. Halo Reach, such an amazing game. I love the multiplayer in Halo Reach. Halo Reach is one of my favorite multiplayer games. And then besides that, but I played Street Fighter 4 way more than any of those. And I love Street Fighter.
And also, the party chat's getting integrated with the operating system. Instead of having to be on the same game to be able to chat, you can do cross chat if you.
That was brilliant. That was Microsoft really innovated with stuff that Bungie or other people were introducing. They put it into the OS for the Xbox.
Right.
It was brilliant there because they really were paying attention to what people were using and good features that were in games. That party chat was from and matchmaking in Halo. They just took out and said, "Here's this in the API. Anyone can use it now." You know, brilliant.
Hey guys, I don't want to interrupt, but Tony, I do need to get going, man.
All right, dude. Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, hey, no problem, dude. Sorry, I gotta leave, guys.
All right.
Hey, take care, man.
Later, man.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We're talking about Xbox Live. That was like the thing that couldn't be beat last gen. That was the gold standard.
And then with the achievements, I remember I got Uncharted early, Ran. I beat Uncharted the day before Sony introduced trophies. I have go to my trophies list. I have 0 trophies for Uncharted, even though I freaking finished the game. I was like, shit. I'm not going back to that now.
Didn't Metal Gear do the same thing?
No, Metal Gear got achievements like years later. Like Uncharted got achievement for next year. I remember I bought Uncharted, the first Uncharted, right? Like maybe a week after trophies. I'm like, okay, trophies are coming. That's when I'm gonna get Uncharted. So I waited for that shit.
Yeah, I didn't wait, and then I was like, shit, I don't have any trophies.
Trophies. What are trophies? They're just different kinds of achievements, right?
Yeah.
Microsoft started that shit.
And the fanboy wars also were unfortunately one of the most polarizing things when it came to the 360.
I mean, that's unfortunately still happening now.
Yeah.
I hate fanboys with a passion. Like, I don't really hate too many people because I don't care. But like once I identify someone as a fanboy, I don't like them as a person.
As a person.
I know that sounds evil to say. I don't care because I'm just being honest. If you are a fanboy, know that I hate you. I hate you back because we're not meant to coexist. I can't stand people like you. I hate what you do to gaming. I hate what you did to last gen. I hate your influence that you've had on gaming now. They're just cancer. They don't contribute anything. It was so bad last gen too. Like, oh my god, Mafia 2 on PS3 is inferior because it doesn't have grass. Who the fuck is looking at grass when you're playing Mafia? Like, why do you know that? Like, why does that matter? That is so stupid. Just play the game. Like,
I remember people were last gen when Little Big Planet was coming out. People were saying, "Oh, the level modifications in Little Big Planet are way better than Halo's Forge," and I was like, "What? It's a freaking that's the whole point of the game.
That's the entire game. Like, how can you compare? Oh man, I remember all the hype for Killzone 2 before it came out. the people on neo-Nazi gaff making the GIFs that they do because they're all Sony ponies. All the GIFs they were making. I remember that was the gen, and I was like, you know what, NeoGaf, I'm gonna avoid this site because I know what kind of people here, and I don't fit in here. It's just GIF after Killzone 2 is gonna be amazing, and then like it didn't do very well. And I remember I was on a Warzone episode with Hip Hop Gamer, and he was on there talking about how he went to a midnight release, and there wasn't a whole lot of people there, and he was like calling out Sony fanboys, like, you guys were all online championing this game, but when it came to speak with your wallets, when it came to go to these midnight releases, you guys stayed home watching Blu-rays. Like, why? And I just remember, I'd never seen hip hop that annoyed at people, because he's usually a real chill dude, but he seemed like genuinely annoyed, and it was just kind of funny to me. It was just funny. Oh my god, even though I did hate it, it's part of the history, so I gotta remember it. It's
fanboyism.
Yeah, it's part of the history, especially for last gen, and last gen was an amazing gen. I don't think we're gonna see that emulated ever again in consoles, because consoles are going in a different direction.
Man, I'm glad you bring that up, because I was actually thinking about this just yesterday. I was thinking last gen was probably the last great gen that we've had in gaming.
I agree.
Let's just be honest. This gen has been kind of shitty. It's been kind of shitty. And
Tony, how long have I been telling you this?
Yeah, you've been telling me this since it began, but I was holding out hope. But you know what? I don't know if I told you, but I was like, I'm gonna wait for that 2-year mark. We're past that now. Now it's like, no, this is easily the most lackluster fucking generation we've ever had. And then now we're talking about the 360, right? Thinking about all the shit that was going on. I was like, man, it makes this generation seem even worse. Shit, man. We had so much innovation back then, but now it's like, let's just reiterate. Let's just throw fucking HD remasters everywhere. It's fucking crazy, man. And then the fanboyism has gotten worse. How the fuck do you get worse? There's less to argue about now.
There's less to argue about. You're playing the same games now.
From last gen.
Platforms are you're all playing remasters and multi-platform. That's what everyone's playing. I don't care what console you have. And you find ways to argue about playing the same damn game, or where ours is 900p, yours is 720. Who the fuck cares? It's Battlefield 4. It's the same game. It runs just as well. The online has the same issues. It had the same rubber banding crap. It was the same botched on launch. But because one is 900p and one's 720p, we've got to pick up our spears and our shields and charge into battle. That's just really fucking stupid. I never understood that.
It's crazy. Actually, with Battlefield 4, both of them ran equally as bad.
Yes,
remember that?
As bad. It was a botched release, which is funny because the game runs amazing now. But it's really it took you a year and a half to fix this.
Yeah, but it's just
more evidence that this shit was rushed. It really shouldn't have happened.
Dudes were arguing about pixels. Mine's is 1080p. Mine's 900p. Both of you motherfuckers can't play it.
Yeah, you can't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Oh, I look at the resolution. You're both playing a game in 2014, 2015. That's 30 frames per second. And you want to argue about 1080p? Why does that matter? You're playing at 30 frames per second, and you're playing a shooter. That shouldn't even be acceptable. What are we talking about right now? Yeah. I don't. But I guess that just ties into things you said before, Tony, about people focusing on things in gaming that don't really matter and ignoring the real issues that matter and letting stuff slide. So.
Yeah, oh, man. Anyway, anything else about the 360? I think we pretty much covered it all.
We had fond memories. We had good times, old friend. Good times.
I'm going to say this now. As much as I love the 360, it wouldn't have existed without the Dreamcast. And I'm being biased because the Dreamcast is my favorite. It's between the Dreamcast and the Super Nintendo. Those are my two favorites.
I love Dreamcast.
Man. Dreamcast is my favorite console.
It wouldn't have existed without the 360 is what the Dreamcast was trying to be when it first came out.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah,
I give the 360 props obviously because it was an amazing thing, but I saw what Sega was trying to do with that Dreamcast, and I see it in the 360, and I'm like, well done, your legacy is saved.
Yeah, it was finally realized. I mean, I said this. People got pissed off at me when I said this. I'm like, if you think about it, the Dreamcast was a proto Xbox. It was. That's exactly what it was.
Microsoft's learning from the Xbox came from the Dreamcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they worked on the Dreamcast ran Windows CE. They were actually directly influential on the Dreamcast. And it's like, in all honesty, the reason the Dreamcast failed was, I mean, it's complicated, but I mean, a large portion of it is the fact that it was ahead of its time. Like, same thing with the Saturn. Like, they were trying to do too much at the time, and they didn't have the fan base to do that. So it kind of fell upon itself. So I don't know. I don't know why anyone would get mad at you for telling the truth. But
yeah, they were mad.
Yes, I do, because people get mad at me for telling the truth. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. Oh, how dare you compare one of the greatest consoles to one of the shittiest consoles? What the fuck are you talking about?
That's awesome. Like,
seriously.
Oh, it's shitty.
People are dumb, man. Dumb as fuck.
Oh, man.
Anyways, 360, thank you for giving us gaming. What we have it now, I guess.
One last thing.
Is the PS3 still in production? I assume that it is, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah. So next year we'll be having this conversation.
Yeah, next thing for PS3, obviously, because they started a year late, so they'll finish the year after.
Mm-hmm. Yep, basically. Go ahead, Carlos. Finish it up.
Go buy a whole bunch of Xbox 360 controllers, because you're probably going to be using them in 10 years from now.
Oh, shit.
That's a good point. Just like everyone's hunting for the original Sega 6-pad buttons for fighting games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They probably want those 360 button controllers for PC gaming and stuff, for PC gaming reasons. So that's good advice, actually.
Great. All right. Moving on here, Chris. I picked this one specifically for you, man. So Star Fox is apparently a really fucked up game. Why this does not surprise me.
It shouldn't surprise anyone.
Yeah, Chris, give us the details, man. What's going on with the Star Fox, man? What's up with the controls? That's the biggest thing people are complaining about.
Well, as usual, Nintendo had to shoehorn motion controls into this game, which, according to Polygon, makes it just a terrible experience in every way. The gamepad is integrated in all these kind of convoluted ways where half of the audio comes out of it instead of coming out of your TV, and then there's a lot of twitch shooting, but twitch shooting while having to shake the gamepad around and aim while you shoot sounds like a nightmare, and apparently the way Arthur Guys is describing on Polygon, it sounds horrible. And he said that the levels are bland and slow, the difficulty is all out of balance, like some areas are easy, and then all of a sudden the difficulty just shoots up and then it comes back down. And I think a lot of this is due to just Platinum not being able to develop this game the way they wanted to, right? Like, Nintendo did not give them this title and say, hey, we like the way you make games, here's Star Fox, here's the way we want it, you go make Star Fox, right? Instead what happened is, and I know this for a fact, Miyamoto had Platinum Games developers come into Nintendo, and he personally supervised this game.
Wow.
And that is the biggest mistake, because he muddled this game up until it is now looks like this convoluted mess that it is. He didn't let why hire this studio to work on this game if you are not going to let them do what they do best? That is what bothers me about this. So this was like a train wreck, like coming from 2 years ago, right, when we went to E3. Like, I saw this coming back then. I saw how sparse the levels were. I saw the half-ass thrown things in from the unfinished Star Fox 2 and mostly from the first Star Fox game. And I'm like, these levels look bland, they look slow, the game looks slow. And that's exactly what it is. It's slow and boring because this is not Star Fox. Now it's made for kids, so it has to be slow, and two people have to play, so somebody aims with the Wii remote while somebody flies, and it's like garbage. This is fucking garbage. Like, so, and like, you don't need to take my word for it. It's all right here. The Polygon article, he sums it up. The final sentence of the review says, "I am not playing any more Star Fox Zero." Like, I've never seen a review end like that. Where it's like, I do not want to play this game anymore. Like, that just sums it up for me.
Didn't fucking Platinum also do the other M game?
No,
that was
Team Ninja, and they complained about not being able to do what they wanted to with that game as well, because of people in it. It's a common thing with Nintendo. Like, they want that game to appeal for everyone, and they go to these people who are known for doing things a certain way and tell them to not do it that way. It makes no sense to me.
But that's the point I was trying to make.
Hyrule Warriors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said, Koei said, we can make dungeons and we can make an adventure, a single player element, and Nintendo flat out said no. We do not want you to make Dungeons. We do not want you to make Zelda. We want you to make Dynasty Warriors with a Zelda skin on it, but at these parameters, right? So it's like completely castrating them from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
So with Platinum is worse because I happen to know that they worked from Nintendo Studios. The devs had to go work at Nintendo so they could be supervised. Yes.
Wow.
They couldn't work in their own studios. The assets didn't leave Kyoto. They had to go there.
Oh my god.
Like I said, I've been reading reviews for years. I've never heard a reviewer end a review with like, "I'm never gonna play this game again."
That's what. That to me stuck out. It was like, I'm not playing this game anymore. I've never seen a review end like that. Even if a game is shitty, it's like you'd say like, well, I don't recommend this game or whatever, or maybe I'll finish it. No, he just said flat out, I'm not playing this anymore. He said flat out he didn't finish the game, and he doesn't plan to.
So you can't use the thumbstick to aim in, or do you have to use the...
No, I think you have to hold the gamepad up to your TV and actually move yourself to aim.
What?
Wow.
And and apparently there's no way to change this. This is just how it is.
So they've managed to make the aiming in Star Fox even worse. I mean, the N64 version, which had that stupid joystick thing that crapped on you after like a week's use, like that's better than this, apparently.
Well, see, this is my problem with a lot, and Nintendo's especially stuck in this. And my girlfriend, she has a name for it. We call it mandatory fun time. Where in certain Japanese games, you have no choice but to play the way they want you to play. And Nintendo is really especially guilty of this. It's in the article too. I'm reading it. It says that Star Fox Zero suggests you can disable motion controls, but this isn't actually the case. There are many areas that force you to use motion controls for aiming, which means you have to use the gamepad and move yourself around to aim and shoot. But that's insane because like having to do a Twitch shooter where you have to move the thing around to aim and fire, it must be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely horrible, dude.
And that gamepad's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it is.
It's horrible. I have a Wii U, and even for platformers, it sucks. Because those thumbsticks like are all like on the top and separated. Man, Nintendo, man.
Do they not have game testers that go, "This is not fun"? Like, what the fuck?
Right. No, it's and they always do that. Like I remember when they used to have internal game sessions, right? We used to have competitions in the office and stuff for games like Mario Kart, right, or Smash Brothers, and they would tell us we had to play with the Wii remote. I remember when they said we had to race Mario Kart, do a Mario Kart challenge with the Wii wheel. I laughed. I'm like, you can't be fucking serious. I said flat out. I said to the marketing people there, the guys in Redwood City, I said there's no human on earth outside of this office that will play the game like this. I said they will all get GameCube controllers or have GameCube controllers and race. That is how people play Mario Kart. And the fact that the option was in the game to have GameCube controller support, I'm like, there's no one in their right mind is going to play like this. This is ridiculous. They made us play Smash Brothers with the Wii remote, which was like the most ridiculous thing ever.
You know what's really messed up about that? There were tournaments for Smash Brothers. For Wii, that was a driving. It's not the main reason, but it was a driving force why Smash Brothers Wii never took off in the competitive scene, because there were tournaments where you could not use the GameCube controller or even the gamepad. If it was officially funded by or recognized by Nintendo, you had to use the Wii remote to play.
Jeez.
Who the fuck wants to compete in Smash Brothers using that? Like, exactly. I don't want to do that.
Exactly. No one does.
Nobody.
But that's what I said when we had the internal competitions. I said nobody is going to play the game like this. Anyone who's played the game competitively is going to go find a GameCube controller. But that's how it is. This mentality is pervasive, and this is the stuff that I mean maybe Nash is realizing now. I remember we used to argue about this before, that they haven't changed. This mentality hasn't changed. They're not going to right the ship because the same people are making the same awful decisions over and over again, and this is just leading until the catastrophe that will be the NX. And I guarantee you, pull out my crystal ball right now, the NX will be horrible.
I really want to argue with you, but I mean, you're not wrong. There's no way. When I heard the announcements of the hardware specs of the system, and they were aiming for what the PS4 was at launch, I was like, you have not learned. You're gonna come out in the middle of a console generation, like you did with the Wii U, and you're gonna aim your specs at the current hardware, like you did with the Wii U. You're doing the same thing you did with the Wii U, and you're expecting different results than what you got with the Wii U. I cannot be the only person here that thinks that's just completely asinine. That makes no sense to me. And then all the weird concept art of this weird funky controller. Listen, Nintendo, I am all for innovation. Innovate. Do not innovate a controller the way you're trying to innovate. Either give us a regular controller and an optional new way of interacting with your games, like VR, motion control hybrid, which I'm 100% for, or don't give us a new way and just give us a controller. But the weird concept stuff I'm seeing with the controllers, I know that's all rumor. If that stuff is in any way, shape, or form true, I am done. I'm not speaking of Nintendo again. Like, they don't exist. I can't do that. I've defended them through the Wii. Do you know how hard I've had to defend? I've lost friends defending them for the Wii U.
Oh,
people who I was like, it's not a bad system, give it a try, and they give it a try. These people don't talk to me anymore, and I know it's my fault. I was in the wrong for that. I apologize. They don't answer the phone when I call. Like, they're done with me. I'm not doing that with the NX. I'm not going to tell people, give that system a try. And it's coming out too early. That system should not come out before 2017. It's coming out in 2016. They're going to have it where they're going to try and force developers to make games for it, because people love making games for their mobile platforms, but not for their hardware, but not for their home platforms, because their home platforms don't really sell. So what they're going to do is, instead of having out a new DS or a new Game Boy, the NX is going to be a mobile game, a mobile system, and a home system combined, where you take the controller on the go with you. Sounds cool, right? Not really. When you really break down how it's going to work and stuff like that, apparently it's supposed to be streaming games from your home console. So that limits, like, the abilities of the games and stuff like that. It's like all these really... It's like they have all these forward-thinking ideas, and they implement them in the most backwards way possible. I don't know. They need new blood there. They really need new blood in Nintendo. To hold on to the old school mentality with some new school innovation, because they don't have that right now. It's just they're just doing whatever they think because they're Nintendo. And
Tony, how many times on Throwdown have I said that?
Literally every time we talk about Nintendo, you have said this.
I swear, somebody wants my death every time I say Miyamoto should just retire. Like, stop. Like, you've done so much for gaming, but you need to stop now. Like, you have literally turned into the villain now. Like, you literally cannot.
He's
make
George
anything.
Lucas.
Yeah, you George. You have become your own, like, George Bernard Shaw, the character from Citizen Kane. You are George Foster Kane. You have become that. Like, you are in your own hubris, and nobody can question you because of the position you have now. But you are making bad decisions constantly, and you are running everything into the ground. It needs to stop.
Nintendo's fucking... and people always get mad at me when I say this, but I can't see it any other way. I really honestly believe this NX is going to be Nintendo's last console. How can they move on after that? Like, who the fuck is going to honestly back them up after this shit?
Yeah, and I don't want to hear any more about Nintendo's infinite amounts of money. Nintendo doesn't have infinite amounts of money. They have there's operating costs and revenue, and when they have losses, remember, Nintendo has been cutting back severely on everything, things we don't hear about as gamers on the outside, but things I hear about because I used to be there and I hear from people, they've been cutting back a lot. Not only that, there's been public knowledge of them downsizing.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've downsized a lot over there. And I'm shocked it's not getting a lot of press. A lot of people over there have lost jobs and stuff.
Yes.
Over not just the Wii U's performance, but a lot of games that they put out don't sell as well as they're supposed to. Like, I think they're shocked at how well Pokken is doing. Because Pokken is flying off the shelves and increased Wii U sales, actually. But
wow,
before that, like...
I mean, that's
not going to save the system. Yeah, that's not going to save the system, though.
That's not going to save them. And you know what's funny? I look at Pokken's release on the Wii U, and I'm like, if you were really going to come out with the NX this year, why wouldn't you shelve that game until the NX came out?
Yeah, great point.
Have it run on better hardware, have better online functionality, even have a 2v2 mode. Because they're going to re-release it on the NX.
Of course.
But it won't have the same impact. It won't have the same impact that it would have had if that was like an NX launch title. It would have, because the way people look at and are playing and enjoy Pokken now, imagine that on the NX at E3 if they show that on the board. In fact, here, we're going to bring up these fighting game players and have them play this game, and you show it at the E3 for the new hardware. You wouldn't be able to keep the NXs on shelves. Instead, you put it on a system that you've already pretty much packed the bag on. And then now you release this horrible attempt at a Star Fox game right afterwards. So it's like, oh, good job, Nintendo. And then you immediately fuck up right afterward. Like, what the fuck? I don't. It's like you get wide open for it, you catch the pass, and then you spike the ball 2 yards short of the damn end zone. That's what Nintendo's just done with this this combo of fucking Star Fox and Pokken. Like they threw the game away. They don't care. It hurts because I'm a fan, dude.
Yeah, I know. And how much does this build your confidence for Zelda?
I don't even want to talk about this.
Right? You know, I mean, you have to have glasses so rose that you're blind to think that Zelda is going to come out in any way, shape, or form that you think it will. Whatever you think Zelda is going to be, I guarantee it won't be that.
Just the concept, like with Twilight Princess, which is funny because they just re-released that HD and it sold. I have no idea why.
Well, beggars can't be choosers. That's why.
I guess
if you have nothing else to buy on that system, you're gonna buy whatever they give you.
But like with Twilight Princess, it was a GameCube game, and then you released it on the Wii, and I guess now it's on the Wii U. You're about to do the same thing again to a Zelda game, where you release it on old hardware and then immediately release it again on new hardware. Why do you keep doing that? Just don't release Zelda on the Wii U. Don't. The system is dead. You've already basically said it's dead. You don't even produce it anymore, to my knowledge. I think they stopped production on it in certain countries. Like, just stop. Listen, don't. The new Zelda is going to be exclusively on the NX. So look forward to seeing more from E3. That's all they got to do. That's all Nintendo has to do. No, they're going to release it on the Wii U and then release it on the NX.
I hear the frustration in your voice, man.
No, you don't understand. I have friends who are in the gaming industry and they've been trying to get jobs at Nintendo, and it's ridiculously hard to get jobs at Nintendo. Like I can't even explain the process. I'm not going to name any of them.
I can
they've worked with Nintendo, but
we have somebody.
Well, you tell it. You school us. They need some of these people. They need to have them there, and they just don't hire. I don't understand. Well, they don't want to make money. They don't want to be successful. They want failure.
They've really tightened their belts now lately. Like, things are bad over there. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't think and people don't understand. I know a lot of fanboys don't understand how money works, or economy, or business expenditures, or anything. They just think that Nintendo has a giant piggy bank that they just go to and hold out their hands, and money falls at them, and they just throw it around. That's not how money works, right? Money has a velocity, it has value, and they have stocks, and they have operating costs, and there's currency exchanges between different countries. There's a lot of factors to take into account. This is what Nintendo's dealing with, and they're not really hiring now because they're not doing well. They don't have the money to put into expenditures like new employees and stuff. They're trying to make do with what they have, and they're actually shrinking their workforce, not expanding it. So it is really hard when they have an open position. They often try to fill it internally before they look outside. And a lot of companies who are suffering with struggling budgets do the same exact thing, or try to double up on a position, or expand a role, right? So that's why it's so hard to get in there now.
Nah, man, but they got that Scrooge McDuck money, man.
Right. So everybody says it's because, like, look, when they bought back their stocks, when the Yamauchi family, the founders of Nintendo, way back in the day, when the senior Yamauchi died, the former president, when he passed away, and his family was selling off their stocks, Nintendo quickly bought it. That was a sign to people that, wow, companies only buy back their own stock when they have money to burn. That wasn't money to burn. They bought back the stock so that some other third party didn't buy it. Somebody like Microsoft didn't go, hey, we'll buy those shares.
We'll buy those shares.
Right. They were preventing an American company or someone else who had money like Google or Apple or Microsoft from doing exactly that. That's why they bought them back. It wasn't because they have money to burn. They absolutely do not have money to burn at this point. So I just want people to understand that. That's not a sign. There's companies that do buy back their own stocks, like the parent company of Carrier, that buy their own stock because they have so much money they don't know what to do with it. So they reinvest in themselves. But that's not the case here.
Nintendo.
You know Nintendo's dying when your abuelita stops calling all your game consoles Nintendo.
She just calls them el PlayStation, you know. Yeah, that's some true shit, man. That's some true shit. El Xbox, I haven't heard that one. I heard El PlayStation and El Nintendo, obviously, but you're right. Sorry, abuelita. All right, let's move on to the last thing here. Not gaming, not much happening in gaming, but I want to do a follow-up on the shit we talked about last week. So we talked about Ghost in the Shell, you know, that whole thing with the whitewashing, Charlie Johansson and stuff. Kind of sucks Brett is in here because he was pretty much like adamant about the Japanese aren't xenophobic. Yes, they are. You know, come on, dude. But the thing is, we didn't really talk about the Japanese reaction to this. Different than ours, you know, because over here was pretty much outrage. You know, Japan, they're kind of taking the whole attitude of like, yeah, it's a Hollywood movie. What the fuck did you expect? They don't give a shit.
God. I told people, I said, listen, Japan is not going to give a flying fuck about this. They don't care. Look at the anime characters they draw. Most of them look European or white anyway. They're honestly not going to care. The only way you could piss Japan with this off, the only way you piss them off is if you made her black. Japan would probably be pissed then.
Yeah, they said the only way they would be pissed off is if they got a Chinese actress or something.
Or Chinese or Korean actress. Oh, then they would have been livid. But this, they don't care about. Like,
yeah, they don't give a shit. They're like, okay. They said, someone said They said it would have been nice if they got a Japanese woman, but since there's no big Japanese actresses, they understand the decision. They really don't give a shit.
How is it that Japan is more reasonable about how America treats their culture than Americans are about how Americans treat Japanese culture? You're basically fighting for people that don't, and you know what? I don't know. I'm about to answer my own question. This is what America does. You're fighting for people. They don't fucking want you fighting for them. Like, they're not asking you to champion this cause or anything like that. This earthquakes that are just happening in Japan, niggas ain't talking about that shit online right now. Everyone's real silent. Oh, Scarlett Johansson is going to play Major. We've got a campaign and hashtag that. The fuck? Like, no. Where are your priorities? You want to help Japan when they actually need help. Don't throw full outrage because of white guilt or whatever stupid other motivation you have for being angry about a fictional representation of a fictional character that's a fucking cyborg shell of an AI construct and technically wasn't even Asian to begin with. Major wasn't even a woman to begin with. He was actually a man when he was human. You know what? I don't even want to get into this. I don't want to do this. I know too much about Ghost in the Shell. This is stupid. This is really dumb. And I'm happy that at least that Japan is kind of like, America, calm the fuck down. Yeah. I'm happy that came out.
Because, I mean, where's the actual outrage? I mean, what's with Hollywood and all the human washing? She's half cyborg. Why is the machine in the main role? Put a wig on it?
Take a vibrator and put a wig on it. That'd be what happened in the source material, right? But no one's saying that. Like, you, Tony, I don't know if you saw the arguments I got into on Twitter with people where they were
I didn't see them.
She's definitively Japanese. There's no reason she shouldn't be Japanese. I'm like, it's you understand that it's not even technically a human being. Major it's completely inorganic. You could put Major's data into any shell, so it doesn't make sense. And then I look at the picture they show of Scarlett Johansson as Major, and I'm like, yeah, I could see that. She kind of looks like one of the posters from the movies. And they're like, oh, this looks terrible. I'm like, so because her name is Asian, she should be Asian. Well, I'm Nigerian, and my name is Michael. So Michael's like an Anglo name. Are you telling me that, like, I should be white because my name is Michael? No, that's fucking stupid. So, like, if that's your only basis for it being that way, and the people from the original source material's land don't really seem to care, why are you angry?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm one of those. I mean, I'm more annoyed than anything because to me, I've always seen her as a Japanese woman. When I see her, I see a Japanese woman, right? But I don't. I think my brain does something with Japanese, you know, anime characters where I don't care how big their eyes are. I'm like, that's Japanese. They're Japanese. What's their name? Ichigo Kurosaki. I don't care that he has blonde hair. He's fucking Japanese, right? Like I remember when I saw Pacific Rim. I remember the girl in Pacific Rim. I'm like, oh shit, she looks just like the Major, right? But despite the fact that I specifically wanted a Japanese, you know, character to be in a movie set in Japan, I understand why this had to be done. No Japanese woman, that the girl from Pacific Rim, not even Ming Na, who's not Japanese, by the way, is going to draw the same amount of people as fucking Scarlett Johansson. I understand the logistics, right? But my thing is, and I said this on Throwdown last week, all of his arguments about Ghost in the Shell are moot because the movie's probably going to be ass.
Yes.
You know,
I'm not going to say it. Yeah, it will be.
Come on, son. Let's keep it real here. Name me one Japanese anime-based American movie that has been great. I'll wait.
Well, Matrix. That's
not based on
that's influence.
Yeah,
that's influence.
That's not based. I can't think. No shit.
Dragon Ball Evolution, right?
Oh,
that was fantastic.
Come on, man. Like, all right. So what you're doing here is you're taking cheap shots. I get it. Okay, it's
Fist of the North Star was really good too. Remember that?
oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, there's no good example. I was more outraged. I saw Avi Arad was the executive producer.
That's my thing, Evie. I read the movies that be trash.
That guy sucks.
Yeah, that's not.
He shouldn't touch movies.
That's my main thing. I'm like, that's the main reason you should be away from this movie. Abby Arad. And
I saw his name on it. I'm like, oh.
Exactly.
No, the thing that got me, and I'm not a hipster like this, but it's like I'm a fan of Ghost in the Shell.
I love Ghost in the Shell too, man. I
love Ghost in the Shell. Obviously, but here's my thing: like Ghost in the Shell isn't. It's a critically acclaimed and esteemed anime, but it's not a popular anime. If you get what I'm saying, because of the genre and like how deep the story is, and it's kind of convoluted, and sometimes you have to watch episodes more than once because there's tons of quotes and all this stuff that you got to kind of decipher. So when I'm looking at like this huge outrage, I'm sitting there kind of like, wait a minute, like you fuckers don't watch or read Ghost in the Shell. I know you don't. I've never heard any of you mention it.
Yeah.
The fact that you were saying that it should be an Asian actress, and then you list a bunch of Chinese and Korean women to play a Japanese actress.
Yeah.
It's like you're just an idiot. You shouldn't be speaking on this because you don't understand that there's a difference between Japanese women and Korean women and Chinese women. They're not just the same. They're not. So Japan would probably take more offense to that, like you mentioned already. So it's like, why are you angry about something you don't care about? You never cared about Ghost in the Shell. You've never talked about it. You've never seen or read it. But you hear something about white people, so it just makes you mad. Like, why? I don't get it.
It's the outrage thing. I need to say this real quick. One of the commenters said this, and I'm like, damn, that's a great point that a lot of people are not focusing on. He said, you know what? It upsets me that she's being played by a white woman, but at the end of the day, this means that a Japanese-produced thing, Ghost in the Shell, will be more appealing to the masses, and that's a great thing. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's a great point. You know, if more people are now cognizant of Ghost in the Shell,
they'll go watch the anime.
They'll go watch the anime. They'll be like, "Ooh, Ghost in the Shell, what's that?"
Read them on. And that's the thing. Ghost in the Shell. I'm not saying it's gonna be a good movie. But when I look at what it is, it could be made into an amazing movie. Will it be made into an amazing movie? Probably not, unfortunately.
Because it has Avi Arad in it. Yeah. Anyway, Chris, go on, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think and I've seen plenty of movies where I'm like, where does this come from? And actually, it comes from a comic book or whatever, and I'll go read the comic book. Like in this case, like, yeah, maybe people explore the anime, read the manga, and explore the story and go, oh, gee, this is really good. And that might lead them on a gateway where they'll experience more Japanese stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's always good. Is Avi Arad the gatekeeper of that stuff? No, he sucks at everything.
Everything. He's trash.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a great movie, but he's a terrible, terrible producer.
God damn it, man! I don't want this movie to suck.
Do they have a director attached to it?
Yeah, the guy who did Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh, they do. I didn't even know they had a director already.
Yeah.
The guy that
I don't remember his name.
With what's her name? Kristen Stewart, right? I think. Some crazy shit happened like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's. I mean, the movie's not going to get made if Scarlett Johansson is not attached to it.
Exactly.
So you have to look at it two ways. Either you want the movie to come out, or you don't want the movie to come out. Because if it's an Asian or Japanese, specifically an actress, it's not going to come out.
Right, and there's things like that. There's been examples of this before. I mean, look at 47 Ronin, right? They weren't going to put a Japanese guy in the lead of that. They put Keanu in it. That they banked on it. Didn't work though. That movie was way too expensive. It did not make back.
And it wasn't even that. And I actually enjoyed that film too. But just funny, isn't Keanu actually half Japanese though?
Is he?
Is he?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's half Japanese. Yeah,
he's half Asian. I don't know
yeah,
what.
he's mixed with a lot of stuff. I thought he was half Japanese and stuff. That's why That's why I thought that's why they went to him originally, just because they figured.
Maybe, but it didn't. That's one of those things where it didn't work, right?
Yeah, it was just too expensive.
His collective to try to promote the movie.
Yeah.
Just like putting Tom Cruise as the lead in Last Samurai.
Yeah.
He wasn't the Last Samurai. If you watch the movie, he's not the Last Samurai. It's Ken Watanabe. So right? But he can't. Yeah, he can't headline the movie.
You know what's funny? Actually, it's a good thing you mentioned Watanabe. They're doing a remake of Unforgivable with samurais, and Ken Watanabe is going to be the lead.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Yeah, Warner Brothers announced that. I think it was today or yesterday they announced that, and I'm like, well, I'm sold. So you had me on Watanabe, so I'm watching that. Yeah, I'm watching that. I don't really care. Samurai Watanabe, Unforgivable. Yeah, I'll watch that. I don't really care about the rest.
A lot like The Last Samurai, Last of the Mohicans, Daniel Day-Lewis was the lead character in that one.
Right, exactly.
Oh, by the way, something related to this. People were also mad about Rita Repulsa. Oh, whitewashing. You saw that shit?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Like, you guys understand that the Power Rangers have always changed their cast.
Yeah.
Based on the fucking region where you're watching it. Like, because you realize that there's no Black Ranger. Yeah. The black guy isn't a Black Ranger. It's an Asian person. All of them are fucking Asian. There's no like, oh, well, this guy is black and like only Asians like the yellow. No, they're all fucking Asian in Japan. Like they don't change it like that. So it's like for you to be mad over that is just stupid. That's not whitewash. That's just what they did when they localized it. Hell, if I remember correctly, in Japan, the only female ranger is the pink one. The yellow ranger is male in the Japanese.
Yeah, he's male. But
which is why,
Yeah, but Mike, they that they knew what they were doing. The Black Ranger's animal is the mastodon, right?
Okay, don't do this.
Oh no,
I know you're going with this, and I don't want this to happen. So don't want this to happen. That's so bad. No.
But Chris, you're gonna finish it anyway.
That's right, because he keeps his trunk in the front. That's
God damn it.
Okay. Oh man.
Honestly, I thought she looked pretty badass, and you can see the obvious tie-in with her looking that way with the because people are like, oh, the costume is different, and it should have been purple. First of all, I don't know where the fuck you got purple. There's no purple in the original Rita, so where the fuck are you getting purple from? And second of all, they're doing that because they're going to clearly introduce the Green Ranger, and it would make sense for the Green Ranger to look something like Rita since she essentially creates him.
Oh my god! But these guys grew up with the '90s one. It was already whitewashed to begin with. The Zero Ranger is all Japanese people.
Yeah,
guys, like, oh my god, these guys. Oh.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, I think she looks badass. Like, honestly, that's the when I saw the picture from I think it was Entertainment Week, I was like, all right, I'm watching this. Like, I was kind of wishy-washy on whether or not I would watch it, and I saw that, I was like, okay, that woman looks like she's gonna whoop somebody's ass. So I'm watching that.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I'll be honest, it looks really fucking corny to me. But at the same time, I'm not invested in this movie, so I don't care.
I am. I'm a Power Rangers fan. I am. I used to the original and anything before Neo, because Neo was complete trash, and then Turbo. We don't talk about Turbo, and anything after Turbo, up until like Ninja Storm, and then SPD it got good, and then after that it got to crash. Power Rangers has had a very complicated history. It's had some dark times, you know. We don't talk about those dark times though. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
This is something random and stupid, but I'm going to say it anyways. We talked about the PlayStation Neo, we talked about Keanu Reeves, and we talked about Power Rangers Neo, so I told you it was stupid and random.
Oh, there's a pattern here. Oh.
There's a pattern. The pattern has you see the pattern.
It's high right now. I know it's 420, so maybe is that what spurred that chain of events there in your mind? All the Neo connections.
It's the butterfly effect, man.
Yeah, he can see the pattern, man.
Very quickly, somebody hold up the Eye of Providence because it all goes back to the Illuminati.
No, don't do that. Oh, well, one of us is gonna die now. Thanks for that. You know, that was unnecessary.
All right, so that pretty much wraps it up for this show. So let me do a little bit of post-show stuff here. So Throwdown Your Questions will be live on Monday night. We're not doing Sunday like we always do because I'll be at PAX. You know, actually, I'll probably be home by then, but I'm just going to be too fucking tired. So Monday night, you know, because the things I was thinking about, like, wait, I'll be back by 9. I get home by 10. I could probably do a show, but like, fuck, Tony, don't do that to yourself, man. Get some sleep.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so you know, you guys usually get the MP3 on Monday, so you get the MP3 on Tuesday. You know, so also make sure to check out the coalition's PAX East coverage. What we're gonna cover, we don't know, so you just have to find out. You know, PAX is always a weird thing, man, because nothing really big ever happened at PAX. You know, so we can't really like plan it. It's just like, okay, we'll see what happens. You know, I'm just going there to get fucking drunk with people. That's my thing. You know,
sounds fun. You know, that sounds like you have the right mentality.
Yeah, you know, get into an argument with Hip Hop Gamer about something, you know, while I'm drunk and he's drinking his water, you know, because he doesn't drink.
He does not drink. Nope. I respect that.
He don't drink. He's chilling with soda, you know. Everybody else is fucked up. And yeah, and then obviously, if you're going to be in Boston at PAX, make sure to look out for the Coalition crew. I'll be there. JJ will be there. Nash will be there. Tatiana will be there. And Mr. Richard Bailey will be there. So we got a full crew. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so I guess let me thank you guys for being here. Mike, man, thank you for you know, showing up at the last minute, literally.
No problem, man. I was just on Paragon, so I mean, might as well do it.
And you too, Carlos, as always, man. My Otanime brother.
Yeah, man.
Time, man.
Yeah. You know what? Since we got a little bit of time to kill, what games were we playing? Because I wanted to get on that real quick. Mike,
Dark Souls.
Yeah, Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
I'm probably the only person in here not playing Dark Souls, but I mean, that's just because I don't want to get into 3 and I haven't finished 2 yet, or Bloodborne, so I figure I'll waste. I have a lot of games on my backlog, but I've been playing Smite and Paragon like crazy, honestly. That's about it.
Do you have it? Look, because both of those games are like MOBAs. Do you like do you get confused or anything because they're both kind of the same?
They're different. Like Paragon is much newer, so like the meta for Paragon hasn't really been defined yet. So now it's just they're trying to find the cheapest stuff possible so that they can kind of balance it out. Whereas Smite's more defined and stuff like that. So I like them both. I prefer Smite obviously because it's more refined and it's a deeper game right now, but Paragon's growing on me. Oh, and I've been playing another game. I just remembered. It's a Japanese RPG for mobile devices, and you can play on your computer too, called Grand Blue Fantasy. It's only available in Japan, and you can't play it. There's no English version of the game. Like you have to have like a Japanese iOS or Google Play account. So that's how I basically did that, just to play a Google Play account just to play that.
Wow.
I play it on my computer. It's pretty good. They just now released an update, I think last week, that has English language in it. Because before I was just doing it based on the kanji and stuff like that. Now there's English. I'm just waiting for there to be an English version of the game. Though it's going to suck because I'm going to have to start over, but I don't mind. I actually enjoy it enough that I'd do that. But that's pretty dope. That's about it. That and watching anime, because I do anime reviews and game stuff now on YouTube. So
Nice. I guess, you know, promote your channel real quick. What's that all about?
Oh, well, I just told you.
Just get more in depth into it.
Okay, I do anime. Well, like right now, there's only 2 videos up right now, or 3 technically, because I think I streamed from YouTube for the first time last week, and it automatically archives and uploads. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing reviews on like anime and manga that I'm reading or watching from the current season, and any old school stuff that people will request from any era. I don't care how old it is, because some of my favorite series are like from before I was even born, and I went back and watched it, and I loved it. So it's going to be my focus, but just gaming as well, and some sports stuff, maybe some like wrestling stuff.
Was it just a coincidence that you and Riku started doing this at the same time?
Oh no, I kind of encouraged Riku to do it. Like I was one of the people like Riku and my boy Charles, Earthbender Charles. I encouraged them to get, because Charles used to do YouTube already. And I encouraged him to get back into it just because I liked watching his vids. And I read his comic strip. Like, he's a very creative person. So I like seeing his stuff. And I'm like, Riku is just crazy.
Yeah,
so I'm like, you might as well do that on YouTube and get a following because you're insane. But, like, behind the insanity, there's actually, like, an intelligent person there. Don't tell him I said this. I'll deny it. There's an intelligent person
recorded, by the way, live.
Okay, well, I didn't think before I said, fuck you, okay? Didn't think before I said it. So I said it under duress, clearly. But no, there's like an intelligent person there. And he like thinks about anime. Like when me and him, like our friend Jamaican and Charles, we'll just be in PSN chats just talking about anime we're watching or anything like that. And I'm like, you know, we should be putting this stuff online, like to encourage conversation and stuff like that. So I just started telling them to start doing YouTube videos, and we all started doing YouTube videos. So yeah, I'm actually going to be recording. I'm going to be recording 3 videos for 3 episodes of the anime today. I'm probably going to do 6 actually, because there's 2 series I want to knock out today.
Nice.
Yeah, I did one of it already, but the audio got messed up, so I'm redoing it. But yeah, so I'll be doing that today. The channel, if you look up "Hated Greatness" on YouTube, you'd find me. It's one word. But you could just go to youtube.com/user/hated greatness, I believe, and you'll find my channel.
Awesome, and your Twitch guys, they could follow you there as well, because I know you.
Twitch.
Go ahead.
Twitch. It's twitch.tv/hated_greatness. So you can find me on there. The YouTube gaming. Also, if you follow me on YouTube, for the videos, you'll automatically follow me for YouTube gaming as well. So you'll be fine. But same thing, hated greatness, one word. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else to plug really. That's about it. I'll be doing some articles on the coalition soon as well. So.
That's what's up. And Carlos, what have you been playing, man?
Dark Souls 3. Not just, but
on PC, man.
Nah, on PS4.
Oh shit, man! We should start playing, bro.
Yeah.
Team System 4.
Yeah, the base station. Yeah, I got it on PS4 because a whole bunch of people got it that I knew, so we could play co-op. I actually. The first time we wanted to play co-op after we got that soap item thing, we couldn't connect to each other. Like I could connect to 2 other friends, but I couldn't connect to the third one. And I'm like, there's no limit within the levels because I think he was maybe like a 20-something and I was like 11 or something, and we couldn't connect. So we spent like an hour just trying to connect to each other, and then we noticed that you have to like if you have your rankings on your armor and stuff and your weapons, if they're a certain range, you can't connect to each other. So that was kind of frustrating. But yeah, like I only got past the second boss. So after you beat the second boss, a little bit after, that's where I'm left at. And Heroes of the Storm, I'm gonna be playing that for years, man.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, it's those fucking MOBAs, man. They get you. And yeah, that's the one I've been playing consistently now for a year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we talked about this before, Carlos. I don't get MOBAs, man. Like I'm not shitting on them. Like I see the appeal and stuff, the competitiveness, but like I don't get it. Like I told you I played fucking
Awesome Nuts.
Awesome Nuts. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Then I played Paragon, and it's like, why is this match going on for 40 fucking minutes? Like, I just want to get in and get out, So it's definitely not for me, but I see the appeal, All right, so what have I been playing? I finished Ratchet & Clank, the PS4 game. Fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Ratchet & Clank. It was cool to see the original game kind of redone and stuff, but with a lot of like shit from the newer games too. Like Dr. Nefarious is in this. He wasn't introduced until the third game and stuff. So I'm actually kind of hyped for the movie now, which is weird for me to say because I don't normally like CG cartoon movies. But this one, especially since I love Ratchet & Clank, I'll definitely check it out. And like we said on Throwdown, massive props to the producers for actually keeping the original voice actors, not having fucking Robert Downey Jr. as Ratchet or something like that. Fucking. So I'm happy about that. So I played that. Obviously, I've been playing Dark Souls, but I haven't been playing as much as I wanted to because I'm getting a bit ready for packs and stuff. But I find it funny that I was stuck on the fucking second boss, right, for 5 days. I couldn't get past this dude, right? And then once I beat him, I started steamrolling through the game. So much so that I actually caught up to Chris and Brett in like 14 hours. Just caught up exactly where they were, But I'm still behind. Yeah, but I'm still like behind 10 levels from you guys, so it's nuts. So I'm gonna play that. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna play that again until Monday because PAX. Right. And I'm also been throwing in a little bit of Ori and the Blind Forest, the definitive edition. I played the original one. Game was fucking great. It's brutal, but it's great. And I got to buy this one for $5. The thing is, even though I did spend money, obviously, I didn't technically buy Ori and the Blind Forest because it came with the Xbox, right? So $5 upgrade, it's fine, whatever, So that's pretty much it for me. Chris, have you been playing anything besides Dark Souls?
Oh, not in the last week, no. I haven't even eaten. It's just Dark Souls. Dark Souls, I shower. I'm not an animal, but nothing else but Dark Souls.
Yeah, that's me right there, man.
Television, my DVR is filling up. I think I got maybe 5% space left now. I haven't cleared it off. Dark Souls.
You know what? It's funny. I probably shouldn't mention this on air, but whatever. Because Destiny had come out, right? And despite how I feel about it now, I was actually really, really obsessed with Destiny. But it also came out at a time when it was really cold, right? So I'm playing this, and I didn't realize until maybe 4 days. I'm like, Tony, you haven't showered, man. I'm not sweating. I'm not funky, right? So I don't notice this. You know, so I'm glad that happened though, because now, like on Instinct, it's like, Tony, take a shower. You know, no matter what you're doing. But Chris, it sounds like you're on a video game diet. Like I was with Metal Gear. I was on a Metal Gear diet. I didn't eat, man. Like I only ate when I absolutely needed to eat. Other than that, I'm just playing the fucking game.
Yeah,
you know?
I just got little bits of candy.
Some Doritos and Mountain Dew.
The horrible diet.
No, you got to eat right though, man. That's the thing. Yeah. That's how you got to do it. You know, when I was on my Metal Gear diet, I still ate right. You know.
I know Kristen's mad at me, but I have lost sleep because I'm loving the game so much. I play with Brett. Like I've been playing with Brett like almost every night, and it's been fucking awesome.
Oh man.
I know I should sleep, but it's fucking amazing.
I envy you guys. I can't do that shit. I got to get up early to work and shit.
I got to get up early too, so I'm like in the morning. I'm like, oh,
crazy.
What did I do?
Yeah. So hopefully, hey Carlos, what level are you, man?
18 maybe.
Shit. Oh wait, it's way early.
Yeah, because no, he's only at the second boss. Fuck, I can't play with anybody, man, because I'm either too high level or too low level. You know.
I'm saying hit up Riku and his crew.
Yeah, I guess I should. Those guys are probably like level 70 by now, man. Those guys are crazy.
Yeah, I think they're close to that actually.
Oh, yeah. Really? Because I'm 43, and Chris, you're like 50 something, right? Probably 60.
I'm 68. Yeah.
Damn, man, you guys are crazy. I need to level grind, man.
Well, you get to certain areas where you start killing these enemies, and they start dropping like tons of souls. Like before, you're like scrounging for money, right?
Exactly.
And you get in these later levels, and it's like, holy shit! All of a sudden, I have 50,000. Like, what happened? I got to get out of here before I lose.
Wow, yeah, right. Go to that bonfire real quick. Yeah. You know, maybe that's. I guess I'll just keep playing until I get to that area because I'm not exactly having any challenges. Like I said, I'm just steamrolling through the game now. I'm killing everything. You know?
Yeah, man.
It's crazy. All right, so let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Also help support the site by donating to our Patreon page. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, I was yours, Tony Polanco, and tonight joined by Chris Seeley.
Hey, good night, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Dual barrel roll.
And, of course, Mr. Mike A.
Thank you guys for having me, and everybody out there, enjoy this upcoming weekend. And those people going to PAX East, have safe trips, and have fun out there, man.
Awesome. All right, people. We'll see you next time. Remember, Throwdown Monday. Later.
Peace.